Hey guys, welcome back to COVID Kitchen. I'm Julian.
And I'm Jessica. We hope that you enjoyed making your appetizers from January.
And for this month, we're going to be cooking in a mug in a microwave.
So we will be making mac and cheese as your entree.
And for dessert, a chocolate lava cake.
Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so from your bag, what you're going to need to make your macaroni and cheese is your bag filled with your dried pasta, your bag filled with your cheese. You're going to have a container of milk, a little container for butter, and you're going to need your mug. You also have your spoon, so make sure that you wash both of these before you use them. Also, you want to take off this plastic labeling here. You do not want to put that in the microwave. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off. And also take this off before you wash it, because it's going to be a lot harder for you to take off after you wash it. Okay, so now that I have washed my mug and my spoon, what you're going to need from home is a bowl, a mixing spoon, as well as a measuring cup if you have it. And if you don't have it, no worries, I'll just show you how to measure out the milk without the measuring cup, okay? And you're also going to need some water, but I'm going to go and get that later, okay? So your very first step is to grab your macaroni and cheese, and sorry, just your macaroni, not your cheese. And you're gonna place this in the mug. Okay. And then you're gonna grab your milk and you're gonna measure out, if you have the measuring cup, half a cup. You're gonna open this up. You can either open up from the side, but I'm just gonna make the hole up here and use the top part. So I'm just gonna open it, make a hole, just like if you're gonna drink it, and measure out half a cup. And make sure you have some napkins nearby in case you spilled like I did. Okay, so the milk is inside the mug with the cheese. Sorry, with the mac. So if you don't have the measuring cup, I use about half of the milk. So just go ahead and estimate what half of this is. If you're worried if it's too much, just pour this out into a clear container and then just measure it out that way what half is, okay? So we're done with the milk. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna place our mug in our microwave. So make sure that you are working with a clear space. You also wanna make sure that every microwave is different. So my timing might be a little bit different than your timing because of the microwave. So you always, whatever time I tell you, you just want to keep an eye on your macaroni and cheese, because it might explode if you leave it in there for too long, okay? And we don't want that to happen. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the mug in the microwave, and then we'll go ahead and start heating this up, okay? Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and put our mug inside the microwave. You're gonna set the microwave for 1 minute first, okay? We're gonna put our mac and cheese in there. We're gonna set it for 1 minute. And you wanna stay nearby the microwave and keep an eye on your mac and cheese. Sorry, just your mac right now. So you're just gonna let it run for about 30 seconds, and then you're gonna pop it open again. You always wanna be making sure that the milk doesn't foam up, because that's gonna be a really big mess. We're good so far. That's 30 seconds, I'm gonna pop it open. I'm gonna grab my spoon. And I'm just gonna give it a quick mix. Just like this, okay? your pasta is just it's gonna be really stiff when you first start to mix it, but that's okay. That's why you're gonna be taking it out to mix it so that the pasta doesn't get really dry. Put it back in the microwave. And we're gonna give it a mix again. So you see there? It's stuck a little bit, and just give it a mix. Also be very careful every time you take out the mug. Grab it from the ear. Do not touch the actual mug because it'll start to get hot. So now our milk is still there in a good amount. So we're gonna stick it back in there for another minute and stop it at 30 seconds. And it's starting to foam up. So I'm going to stop it so that I can mix it a little bit. So it didn't finish the 30 seconds, but I'm keeping an eye on it because as the milk gets hot, it's gonna start to foam up. And if you just leave it in there, it's gonna spill out and you're gonna have a really big mess. So that's why you just gotta keep an eye on it, okay? We're gonna put it back in there. Coming up. So it was about to start to spill. So I took it out on time. Just gotta keep mixing it. For about 20 seconds. And it's foaming up. So once it starts foaming up, also, don't grab it from the side. I did that and it's already getting hot. So remember, don't grab it from over here. So now that it's foaming up pretty frequently, we're gonna add half a cup of water, but in increments, okay? So I have my half a cup of water over here. I have it in this bowl. I'm gonna pour half of what is in here. So I'm pouring a quarter of a cup into the mug. We're gonna mix it. And pop it back in the microwave. So now we have finished 2 minutes. We want a total of 4 minutes in the microwave. So the reason why the milk foams up is because it's getting really hot. So now that I added the water, it cooled it down a little bit, so it's not foaming up as much. So we're just gonna give it a mix since it's out here. And by now you should start feeling that the pasta is getting a little bit softer, and that's what we want. So we're gonna pop it back in. And for 30 seconds. And it's foaming up. Gonna add a little bit more water. So you're just gonna keep doing this until you are finished with the 4 minutes. Okay, now that our pasta is cooked, it should be looking a little bit like this. So you see that the pastas have been expanded. They're a lot softer now. Also, they might have changed a little bit of color. It's a little bit more of a, it's not as a bright of a yellow. It wasn't too yellow, but you can tell the difference that there's a slight change in color. Also, you want to still have some milk in there. So you don't want the milk to be dried out. So the importance about this is that every microwave is different. So if your microwave is on a higher setting, then you might not need to cook the pasta for 4 minutes. But then if your microwave is on a lower setting, then you might need to cook your pasta more than 4 minutes. Okay? So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next step. You're gonna grab your cheese and you're gonna dump the cheese inside your mug. We're gonna pour some in there, and then we're gonna mix it. Add some more. You don't have to use all of that, all of the cheese. We can go ahead and add the rest of the cheese once the mug is really hot. What you also want to do is you want to grab your butter. You're just going to plop that in there and push it down. Now, if you like some more flavoring, you can add a pinch of salt. You can add garlic salt, whatever you like. You can go ahead and just add it on top right now. Just make it whatever you want, okay? Now that we have our cheese and our butter, we're gonna go ahead and put it back in the oven. Sorry, not in the oven, in the microwave for a total of 1 minute, but we're gonna do 30 seconds, take it out, give it a mix, put it back in the microwave for 30 seconds and give it a mix. And like always, pay attention to your mac and cheese so it doesn't overflow, okay? Okay, let's go ahead and finish our mac and cheese. Going in here for 30 seconds, and we're going to keep an eye on it. And we're keeping an eye. I'm going to pop it open and go ahead and give it a mix. And now, if you can see, it's getting nice and cheesy. You want to make sure that you get the pasta all the way on the bottom. And we're going to pop it back in. Remember, turn it around, grab it from the ear. And it's starting to look really yummy. And it smells really good too. Okay, so we're gonna pop it one more time in there for 30 seconds. And you are almost done with your mac and cheese. Gonna give it a mix because it's starting to bubble a bit. Oops. Okay, the final 12 seconds. We have our finished mac and cheese. Okay, so now we have our mac and cheese. It's all done. If you like your mac and cheese a little bit more cheesy, that's why you have this extra bag of cheese, and you're just gonna top that off. It'll start to melt with the heat. Just gotta mix it well. And I think that's enough cheese for my liking, but you know, if you like it more cheesy, go ahead and add all of it if you want. So this is really hot. Make sure you let it sit for a minute or two. The longer you wait, the better. You always want to taste it first, like put a little bit on your hand to see if it's hot before you just grab a spoonful and put it in your mouth, because that's not going to be fun. And you can just go ahead and have your mac and cheese in a mug and eat right out of it.
All right, now it's time for dessert. So in your kits, you're gonna have a few ingredients for your chocolate lava cake. First off, you're gonna have the rest of that milk that you used for the mac and cheese. You got a little baggie of flour. You have some baking powder, some granulated sugar, some canola oil, some chocolate chips, and some cocoa powder. So what you'll need at home too, a little mixer and a little bowl. What we're going to do, step one, we're going to use all the dry ingredients and place them in the bowl. So first off, I'm going to put the flour, dump it all in there. Then the sugar, dump it all in there. The cocoa powder. And a little bit of baking soda we got. Powder, baking powder. Now, we want to mix that all up so that it is all in one color. Try not to mix it too vigorously. You don't want to spill it like I might do, but just keep going until you get a nice blend of everything. Okay, so it looks like this. I think that's a good start. Just make sure the bottom. Yep, hold on. Still some flour. Okay, so now we're going to put the wet ingredients in there. So we have the canola oil. And you need 4 tablespoons of milk. And if you don't have a measurer, like I don't right now, you can use your spoon, and it's going to be about 12 little spoonfuls of this that you can put in there. So let's go ahead and do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's okay to spill. Just remember to clean up after. 6, 7, 8, 9. Sorry I'm making such a mess, but hey, sometimes cooking you gotta get dirty. 10 and a half. And since I spilled enough, I think that is gonna be around 4 tablespoons. Sorry about that, guys. So with the spoon, I'm gonna mix it all up so it's all in one, just like you're doing with the dry ingredients. Same thing. I'm using the spoon and trying to get every bit, and it might take a little bit of time so that you can get it into one mixture. It should start mixing up. There we go. Okay, so since I spilled a little bit of the milk, I think this is running a little dry. You guys notice how it's pretty thick? We actually wanted to look more like when you're making cake mix and have it a little runnier. So that's okay. That's why we have some extra milk. What I'm just gonna do is keep adding a little bit at a time and mixing until I get the consistency we want, okay? So let's just add a little bit of milk. And I'm gonna start stirring. And it's better to be like careful, so I'm just gonna keep stirring until I get the consistency I want. If it still needs more, then I'm gonna add more. Now it's already starting to get less thick, that's good. I think I'm gonna add a little bit more milk, but we're getting there. Keep mixing. Okay. Now it's looking more like a chocolate mousse. and this is much easier to work on. So I think we got the batter we want. Okay. So the next step, since this is a lava cake, we're gonna try and make a lava interior using our chocolate chips. We're currently gonna put about 3/4 of the mix in here, into your cup, and then we'll put some chocolate chips and try to make a little melty interior and put the rest on top, all right? So I'm just gonna use the spoon, get some of your batter, and guide about 3/4 of it into the mug. Okay, so we have about 3/4 of the batter in here. What we're gonna do now is use the chocolate chips. We're gonna put a little bit at a time in the center of your mug and then use our spoon to push it in. This is gonna be our lava interior. You don't have to use all the chocolate chips, but do this however you'd like. So I'm putting like 5 at a time. I'm gonna shove it near the middle. Using the spoon, and I'm gonna keep doing this. One got a little to the edge, so I'm gonna guide it in, push it near the middle, and keep going. Okay, I still feel I'm gonna do a little bit more. One more. There. Keep it in the middle and put on top. Now, the rest of your batter, you're then gonna put that on top. So it makes kind of a layer on top of it. I'm gonna use the spoon and the spatula for this one. Try and smooth it out. There we are. I'm gonna use every bit I have. Using the spatula, I'm gonna scrape the sides, put as much chocolate as I can in there. And then at the very end, so we'll make kind of a glossy top, we're gonna put 2 spoonfuls of water just on the top there before we put it in the microwave. So I got a little bit of water. I know my spoon's pretty chocolatey right now, but this should be plenty. Okay, and now we're ready to put this in the microwave. Now, some things to keep in mind. One thing I forgot to do, the rims of the mug itself, it's a little dirty because I kept putting the batter in and it sticks to the edges. You want to clean that up as much as you can because that's going to dry up really quickly and make kind of a crusty edge that'll not be fun to clean up after all this. So I'm just using my rubber spatula, taking care of the edges as much as I can. And here we go. Now remember, this is a ceramic mug, so it's going to get really hot. So I recommend always you holding it by the ear like this. And every microwave is different. So we're just gonna stay real close to this. It normally takes about 1.5 minutes to do the whole thing, but we're gonna stay here and keep an eye because around the minute mark, it's gonna start rising a lot too. And we don't want it to overflow because then we have to clean a microwave and we don't wanna do that. Okay, so I'm gonna put it in. I'm just gonna start with 1 minute. Actually, make sure I can see it. I'm gonna start with 1 minute and just keep an eye on it. So if you did the mac and cheese before this, you know that the milk rose quite a few times. Here, it won't rise as much, but it's still safe to keep an eye here for about 1 minute. Right now, it's looking okay. I'm starting to think I see it rising a little bit, so I'm gonna take it out. All right. First of all, it's smelling great. So we're on the right pace. It started really rising. If you notice, it's probably like half an inch higher. Another 11 seconds. And then we're probably gonna do another half a minute there. So let's give it, yep, it's slowly rising. This is good. Okay, so we have a few seconds left, but when I took a look, it's still a little runny. You see how if I'm moving the mug a little bit like this, you still see some liquid in there. And we wanna keep cooking until we don't see that anymore. So let's go ahead and plop it back in. All right, so it's rising really well. And it should go over just a little bit over the brim of your mug, like a cake rising. Let's take a look, that was a few more seconds. It's really at the top, it's looking good. And just don't do what I just did, it was really hot. Remember, use the ear of the mug. Okay, it's looking good. Okay, so I got it out. I got my lava cake out of the microwave. It takes about a minute and a half. Again, all microwaves are different, but you don't want to overcook it so that you get the gooey interior on the inside. And always remember, use the ear of this because it's really hot right now. It smells really good, but you just got to be careful. Just use the ear of the mug when you're taking it out. You can use your spoon and go in and take a look at the gooey interior.
So we hope that you enjoyed making your mac and cheese and lava cake in a mug.
And this is our last of the COVID Kitchen series, but starting in March, we're doing our teen crafts, and you can come pick those up on the last Wednesday of the month at 3 o'clock.
And as always, we would love to thank the Friends of the Library for supporting our program. See ya!
Thank you. See you next.